G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, a weather report, boy oh boy. For those of you that have been watching the weather in Australia at all, there's been a cyclone formed out in the ocean, and it last week or so it come across the tip of Cape York and ended up in the Gulf of Carpentaria, which is the tip of Cape York's a pointy bit on Australia. The Gulf of Carpentaria is the Gulf to the west of that, between Queensland and Northern Territory. And so anyway, this Cyclone Owen, they called it, it got, it was a cyclone, then it settled down and it popped across the coast, then it got into the Gulf and it reformed through the weekend. And it actually went towards Northern Territory, then it reformed over the ocean, then it come back towards Queensland. So we had all these things about, this cyclone's coming, and prepare, Bundaberg prepare, you're going to get shitloads of rain. And we had I went around the paddock, I bought a new little steel chainsaw, and I'd tried a Chinese chainsaw. A mate had one, or Ross that works for us had one, and I tried one of those and just not real happy with it, shit really. And the little pin that holds the bar straight's plastic, and anyway, I went and bought a still and got a little still toy one for the grandson, so when he comes out we're actually going to hop in and do a bit of chainsawing between us. Yeah. But no, look, this weather event that come through, this cyclone was apparently going to track all the way down the coast and bring big heaps of rain with it. And a cyclone in Australia coming down the Queensland coast, when you look above them in the southern hemisphere, they go clockwise. And so what happens is, as they come down the coast, anything south of the cyclone, it just brings all this rain, brings the moisture off the ocean, and but north of the cyclone can often be a bit drier. So they were saying this cyclone was coming down the coast, and to prepare, so I went and trimmed a few branches and tidied a few things up on Saturday, and it's Monday now, and over the time it started to fizzle out, this cyclone. It come back across the coast, and now it's just a rain depression, but up north, north of Townsville, I believe, there was a place up there had 27 inches in 12 hours, or probably 24 hours. So 27 inches of rain, that's like 600, bloody lot anyway. 670 mil or something like that. And so that's a lot of rain, but it's rainforest country up there, and it handles it reasonably well. The low, or the ex-tropical cyclone Owen, it brought some rain to Western Queensland, Longreach, Winton, places like that, which has been really, really needed. They've been having a hell of a trot out there with the drought, and the hay runners, Burrumbuttock hay runners and all that have been running hay to people, and there's been a lot of community effort into helping the needy out on the farms out there. So they've got a little bit of relief. Melbourne and Sydney on the east coast, they've copped a bit of a caning from a separate system coming across from the west, and Brisbane, south of us, it's been copping a hammering too. So Dalby last night received about 6 inches, I believe, and Dalby's 3 hours drive west of us here, and that was a very dry and drought-riddled area too. So, but out of it, we were told to expect 8 inches of rain. You're going to get 8 inches of rain in a quick period, so prepare for a bit of flooding, and just localised flooding from the storm rain and that. But look, totally out of the whole system. At Bundaberg here, we've had 15 millimetres. So we had 11 millimetres yesterday, which was supposed to be the wet day, and 4 overnight. So they were saying yesterday was going to be the big one, then today 60 to 80 millimetres on the Monday. So it's it's just not quite turning out like that. So that's all right, we don't mind. The paddock's looking lovely and green. I jumped in last weekend and I mowed the whole paddock again, just to try and get rid of some of the woody weeds and promote the better grasses, you know, the lower grasses. So with a bit of rain on top of that, that'll go great. And so yeah, it's a good thing. I don't know what's going to become of it. They keep saying tonight's the night, Bundaberg, you know, it's going to come, but it keeps just popping off to the coast. So, but we're in the season where we get a lot of rain now anyway, so so hopefully it's good. Usually I'm trying to film up the shed and I'm battling with rain on the roof. So yeah, we're not doing that today, and I'm just filming at the moment with the Nikon camera, with the Nikon standard camera microphone, and there's no breeze to wash it out or anything like that, so well, I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm sure it won't be too bad. The sound and camera thing I've been playing with, I've been having a ball really. We have got a small lapel microphone, and look, that works pretty well. And we've bought an extra stand that I can put my Samsung phone on, and we've changed all the settings in the back of Samsung, and it's taken some nice HD video now. And with this lapel microphone, it comes up all right. The phone, we've got the apps on the phone now to do voice recording. We've downloaded some different apps onto the tablet to do voice recording as well. Getting it off the tablet's a bit of a pain in the arse. Getting it off the phone's okay. But I have a Lenovo laptop that I use to do all the video editing and all that, and it's just a tablet probably so big, and it's one of those ones you can fold it back over and use it as a tablet or just have it as a laptop. So, and I do all the video editing on that, and I've actually set that up now, and with this microphone here and the 6 metre cable, 20-foot cable, I've actually set that up on the laptop so I could actually record my sound bites straight to the laptop, and I'm not, you know, pulling sound from this device and that device and downloading this and that. So anyway, look, it's been interesting. I've learned a lot from it and still learning. Yeah, at the moment just about all I've got time for to watch on YouTube is how to swap sounds and get better videos and things like that. But I've got a bit of catching up to do. I've got a bit of catch up with Harold's belt grinder and Waterford Ford's little T20. So I'm hoping this afternoon I can get a good morning of filming in. Then while I'm editing a bit of software, I can jump in and do a bit of catch up on my favourite channels. So look, we'll get in there. We'll have a go. I'll try and catch up with you fellas. I'm just under the pump a bit. Yesterday there was no filming at all. We had a combined birthday party for the 2 grandkids, and then off we went down to Elliot Heads for lunch. Judy and I just went down for fish and chips at the beach, just because we were out and about. Then had a look at the hummock. The hummock's the only hill in Bundaberg. It's a flat ass place, but it's got one hill, and they don't call it the hill or the mountain. It's called the hummock. So I don't know how that worked, but we heard they'd done a few picnic settings up the top, so we drove there for a look. And then on the way home we went to Kelky Moon, which is a local distiller, and they have award-winning gin. And so we picked up a couple of bottles of gin, and yeah, they've got a pink gin liqueur that's available at Dan Murphy's in Australia, and yeah, it's pretty nice stuff. And so yeah, we've got a bit of grog tucked away for Christmas. All the reps have been bringing us grog, so fine time to give up drinking Christmas. And yeah, so for the week so far we've got bottles of wine and a bottle of Dimple whiskey and a 30-pack of 4X cans, and actually TVH, which is Bepco TVH, they sent us a box with 2 tall bottles of Belgian beer in a glass, and look, that wasn't a bad brew. Yeah, and Belgian chocolate. I wasn't fussed on the chocolate, but that's fine. And but the beer wasn't bad stuff. Yeah, we had visitors on Saturday night. Had a bit of bit of a get together and a yarn, and yeah, they went down very well. So, but yeah, it's been a busy week, and I suppose with Christmas coming, it'll be busier. Work has quietened off, and look, with the drought that Queensland had, it had quietened off considerably, and we were overstaffed, so I had to look at putting someone off. So the last man on had to be the first one off, sort of thing, which is a bit of a bastard, really. But anyway, that's just how it is. I probably should have acted and done it 4 or 5 months earlier than I did, but I was just trying to hang on and hang on and hang on and hope we got some good rain and things picked up. But look, we're certainly sustainable. Like, it's a good business and we're sustainable. It's just how long do you keep going on? So that's been a bit of a downer, getting rid of someone. Next year we've got plans to send the business in a slight different direction, but we'll worry about that at the time. It's all interesting. It's all interesting, and it's all a bloody, a bit of a pain in the head. But anyway, that's not to worry. We're battling on nicely. With the Massey Ferguson 6-speed restoration, Saturday I was a bit worried about the rain. I've got to put the head on. I've got the studs in, and I've got to put the head on, which I'm hoping to do and film today. So I was just looking for a couple of little jobs, and one of them was to do an alternator bracket. Now, I have an alternator. It's got a single thick top mount and the adjuster down the bottom. And so what we're looking to do is, I know generator and regulator's original, but I need these tractors they're working tractors. They're going to get out, and especially the multi-power, once we do that gearbox up and we tidy that right up, that's going to be our tractor, and we're going to run flashing lights, same as Goldie. Goldie's got an alternator, and I can head out in Goldie. The other night in the Christmas parade, I could run my lights, my flashing lights, a whole lot, putt along at an idle, and no worries batteries wise, extra lighting and all that, so that wasn't a worry. But these two tractors are getting alternators, and I have to make an alternator bracket, so that's what I've started doing. And where the timing cover comes through here, this bolt here, the standard bracket for the generator just picks up 2 bolt holes here, and they have a 3/8 UNC thread in them. And I thought, well, I'm going to be out and about, bouncing around, and the reason I bought the multi-power tractor was because of the road speed, and we have plans in the next year or two of actually getting out and doing some long runs, some 2 or 3 or 4 day tractor treks. So the Monte Dairy Festival has one in about 18 months time now, and we're going to do that, a 4-day one. And so we've got time, we're not rushed at all, but I thought with the alternator banging on the side there with the bracket down here, I just felt that I'd bring a bracket around and pick up this bolt. And there's a 5/16 UNF bolt there, so that's what this little lug here is for. So that'll bolt on there. It was a great idea having the old timing cover, and I could actually drill my holes and bolt everything together firmly, then run my welds, and by running the welds and letting it cool in place, there's no distortion, no pulling, no nothing like that. So I V'd it all out, and so there's a nice deep weld through there, and you can actually see the side of the hole there where it penetrated out to that far, no worries. And but the new timing cover doesn't have the threads tapped, so I have the 3/8 UNC tapered tap there ready to start the hole, and we have the bottoming one to get right down into it. So I'll probably do that, and I'm yet to put the front bracket on. This is 5/16 or 8mm steel, a bit of an overkill. Like the bracket that was on them normally was 1/4 inch, and but yeah, like this is 8mm, might as well build it strong. If you're going to root around, you might as well have something that'll do the job. And so by picking up here and pulling that hole out of there, with the alternator hanging on the front there, it shouldn't be half bad. Yeah, the camera just stopped, I don't know why. But yeah, with the lower alternator bracket, Yeah, it looks like the camera's only set on 15 minutes. I'm going to have to hop into the back and change that once more. So I've actually changed the video settings on. We've gone up to HD, an extra one higher, but it looks like it's dropped the time of the video down. So it's something I'll have to keep an eye on by the looks. But yeah, with that bracket there, instead of packing it up with washers and things like that, what we should be able to do is I'll just turn up a proper spacer and weld it to the bracket so it's sitting forward. It's a good job. If we're out in the road buggering around, there's less to come apart or less to bugger up. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I did a job for a mate the other day, Jonesy, and I sold a 4 horsepower International Famous engine, and it had been out in the weather, and the Venturi the Venturi where the butterfly went was pitted. So he got the head done up in town, and when he got it done up in town, he asked him to bore the Venturi out where the butterfly went, just to true it up and get rid of the little rust bits. So that meant we had to make a new butterfly and a new butterfly shaft. So he came in on the Saturday and we did that, and I had a yarn and mucked around, and he said, "Oh, what do I owe you?" And I said, "Oh, nothing, it was just an interesting little job." And he said, "Oh, bring you a bottle of Bundy rum." And I said, "Yeah, all right then. Sounded like a good idea." And he brought that in last week, and he told me the other day, he said, "Oh, so I've got a big parting tool there that's way too big for my lathe." Jonesy's got a lathe, but he's half handy, but he does little jobs with it, but he scares easy, I suppose, a better thing to say. Some things he thinks, "Oh, I'd rather not do that myself." So he was telling me about a parting tool he had, and he said, "Look, I might give it to you." He said, "It's too big for my lathe." He's got the same lathe as my Chinese one, but he said it may be good for your big lathe. So I said, "Yeah, I'd love that." So he brought it in the other day, and it's got a Valentine blade in it, and it looks like it's been skimmed along the top there one time, obviously to fit in a smaller lathe. My big lathe will take 1 1/4 inch tools, no worries at all. But what I find interesting with this is it's got a serration here, and when you take the parting off blade, it's a 4mm thick parting off blade. When you take that off, there's bolts on the back, and you can actually adjust your centre height. And I thought, gee, look, I've just never seen that before. I thought it was a great idea. So yeah, being 4mm wide, it's my little Chinese lathe. She'd spit and fart with that one. But yeah, look, that was a great tool. And it's too big for his, and he just gave it to me. That's got a tip in it, and he said, "Oh, look," he says, there's a box of tips with it." And I said, "Where did you get hold of this?" And he said, "Oh, there was an old bloke down the road," and he said, yeah, he was just getting past it, and he'd had a lot of gear that he'd brought up from down south, and he got to a stage in his life where he just wasn't doing anything anymore, and he noticed that Jonesy got the lathe and was playing with his engines, and he said, "Yeah, I'll bring these bits of gear up." He said, "You might be able to use them." So Jonesy took them, then he passed them on to me, which I'm grateful for sure. But I found that adjustable piece here very interesting. But with it there was another parting blade, and it's had both ends broken off it. But he said, "Look, you may as well have it anyway. You can do something with it." And I said, "Yeah, I suppose it's probably good stuff, I'd imagine." And so we might be able to make a little profiling tool. And there was a number 4 to number 3 Morse taper sleeve. Number 4 is in I'm pretty sure number 4 is in the big lathe in the tailstock. And he said, "Oh, he hadn't got a mill of that," and he had some turning tools with the hole in the centre. What are they? TC6X or something or other. And I said, "Well, you'd be able to use those in your lathe." He said, "No, I haven't got the tool, don't fit mine, you may as well have them." So yeah, good, thank you. And he hadn't got a mill, but there's a yeah, brand new Sutton cobalt, probably 5% cobalt slot drill, little two blade slot drill. Then yeah, a 3/4 and a little radius end mill there. That would be 1/2 inch, I'd say. I haven't got my glasses on, but this one's quite dull on the edge, and so I'm going to use that as a test project and a practice project on my tool and cutter grinder. And so yeah, that'll be good, I reckon. We'll just see how it goes. It hasn't been hot too far down the corner, so I'll probably still have to take a little bit out of it. But yeah, I'll try and work with that. And the other thing he gave me was this collet, and it's got the screw-in end mill, and that's a nice one too. That has been used. Yeah, that needs a sharpen. The ends are burnt a little bit, but it came with this little collet that you screw in. I don't have any others of these collets. I don't know what you call them. Probably put it in put it in the comments. And obviously with the different thread size on the different shanks, there's different size collets, but I haven't had a chance to look it up yet. I'll jump in Machinery's handbook, I suppose, and have a look. But that was good. Yeah, one good deed, and just helping a mate, and but he got a few new toys, so that's pretty good. The multi-power tractor, the other day we actually, where the casting, where the front axle pivot had been brazed in and mucked around with it at the back, I made a decision that I didn't want to be out and about with that, just in case. So I've bought a new casting for that, and the new casting comes with new bushes and all that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do, I believe, is I've got new kingpin housings because they had extended ones, and I wanted to bring my tractor down to standard again. And just get the stance right, and there's no advantage to me to have it sitting up high for running around the road. So so we've got the pin. We've actually ordered a new front axle pivot, and when we pull the high heavy duty pivot off the multi-power tractor, we're going to keep it as a unit, and I'm going to sell it around town here. Some of the blokes will want to lift their little sweet potato tractor up or something like that. So by spending a few bob now, I can probably get half of that back when I sell the whole front end as a unit. The only thing I'll take off is the hubs, but if someone has a 135 heavy duty axle, I'll have the hubs anyway. It's the bolster, the pivot and the extended kingpin housings and all that they'll want. So we're going to do a bit of a change around there too. Today we're going to get we haven't even got shed noise today, which is a good thing, and with no shed noise, that means that no creaking and cracking, so it should be a good video day. Like I say, we've done a lot with the videos just recently, and even we've got some LED lights to help get rid of some of the shadows. So anyway, look, it's been a good thing. I'll go handheld for a little minute before we shut down, and I'll just show you some of the parts that we've bought for the multi-power tractor, and maybe over the Christmas break we'll wheel the front end off and have a look. We've got some aftermarket mud guards that I want to sit next to an original mud guard and just check out as well. So we might go handheld for a bit, and yeah, we'll have a look at that, eh? Well, there's our new casting, and it comes with the bushes. This is a Sparex part number, but yeah, look, it does look well made. The bushes are nice, and yeah, from what I can see, it's a dead ringer for the original one. The colour's washing out there a bit, but there's the head ready to go on the little engine over here. And when we come around, remember on the multi-power, the fuel tank had a tree dropped on it, so we've actually bought a new fuel tank. And yeah, I had a look inside. I've been a bit worried about aftermarket tanks, but look inside it's great. I had a look and it's really good. We've got a tacho drive here. That's a Bearco product. There's a tacho drive kit to go on the back of the 1356 speed. We put the new camshaft in, and it didn't come with the little drive dog, and so this little fella here, that needs to go up the back of the camshaft, and that gives us a tacho drive. So in the box here we have some aftermarket mudguards that we're going to put through the paces and just see how good they are, how good or bad they are. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. New little chainsaw, little still. I've got the forklift in the road here now. Chain needs tightening. I left it until last to do an old stump with an old chain, so the chain's hanging around. But yeah, we're slowly buying parts for both tractors, and yeah, we'll see. Oh, also, when we come across here, that's the new kingpin housing. That's one of them. Now, this here, I believe, should come around further. There's no protection here for the thrust bearing, to keep the thrust bearing out of the rubbish. Yet the original one that's been cut and shut, it has that housing all the way around. So I'll take you outside and we'll have a look. Right, I'm doing this single-handed, but yeah, you see how the new kingpin housing doesn't go all the way around. Yet when you look at the original one, the thrust washer is actually sitting up in here. So I may have to look at that. Yeah, just sealing that up a little bit better. The aftermarket people, they've got it close, but no cigar. I'm going to have to fix that, I believe. Now, on the multi-power tractor, that's where all the repair is. So we're going to pop the front off. I've actually got a new pulley there to go on this when I get the front end off. And this housing here, main housing, we've actually got an aftermarket one of them we're going to have a look at and see if that's any good either. The mudguards, the aftermarket mudguards, we're going to actually get them and bring them out and sit them next to a guard here, a standard 135 guard, and we'll see what we got. Okay, I suppose the first point of difference is where it comes down on the safety guard part and kicks out, where the aftermarket one doesn't. But then, look, that's probably a good thing, because when it kicks out, they have to make an adapter plate with an angle on it to kick it back in next to the foot plate. So look, that's a positive. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be show tractors. This is something we can actually use and move around with. Now, the bottom plate, the aftermarket bottom plate is thicker, just a little bit. Yeah, it looks like that's the cross section of the bottom plate. So yeah, the bottom plate is definitely thicker on the aftermarket guard. Where it comes in through here, oh, there's a plate on this one, which I presume we would use the plate. But the obvious thing to me is when we look at these ribs coming down here, if you look at my thumb there and look at my thumb there, these are obviously a lot wider down the ribs. Now look, will it matter? No, it won't. It's just one of those things. If if I could find, I actually need 2 good genuine left-hand guards and 1 right-hand guard to finish my tractors, but it's just not going to happen. You just can't find them. So we have the 3 ribs down the inside there, and the other one has the 3 ribs the same, and the curve is 7 inches on both of them, so the curve's okay too. So that's what we're going to use. I believe the height's the same. I haven't run a tape on the height yet, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. And these tyres that are on there now, yeah, we're going to actually put, actually you'll see the spaces under the guards on this tractor. I will look at getting rid of the spaces, and we'll drop the guards a little, and yeah, a lot of them had that in our area. But by dropping them 3 inches, the tyres we're going to put on are quite a bit wider than this, but the height is very similar. So by dropping 3 inches out of the guards, look, it's going to be fine. And that's the standard generator bracket on the multi-power. Look, that works, and that's the problem with the fuel tank, which I've showed you before, I'm pretty sure. It's had a patch, and that patch actually leaks still, so it's had something dropped across there. So we're going to drop a new fuel tank on, and in the process, like, the engine's great on this old girl, so in the process of doing that, dropping the tank on, we're going to reset the tappets. That's your standard generator bracket. It just picks up the 2 bolts, and they don't pick up a back bolt at all. But yeah, look, I'm picking up the back bolt, and I'll come forward something like that. And I serviced all this up the other day, so it's looking okay. And that reminds me, I need to buy some power steering hoses. So there you go. But the main little wander out here was to check the guards out. Look, they're close enough to do the job. People will come up and be picky and say, oh, yeah, that's an aftermarket guard, and that's fine. I don't mind. I'd rather have a tractor to use. You can see where the spot welds are there. That'll need a bit of a tidy up on this side, but that's pretty good. But the old guards, the right hand guard on this tractor's really good. Like, it's certainly worth doing up, but this fella here, it's just not worth the effort for me to do it. There's probably some pretty good panel beaters out there that'd do that before Smoko, but not for me. Yeah, I suppose it must have sat in a shed one time, and when it sat in that shed, this side of the tractor was exposed. So, but anyway, that's it. Oh, just another short note for the week. On Saturday, when I was doing the pruning and all that sort of thing, I had a chance at the end of the day to fix my compressor. Now, if you look back through my videos, you'll see I bought a big 42 CFM 3-cylinder air compressor, and it has a 10 horse 3-phase motor on it, electric motor on it, and that's what I use for running the bead blasting cabinet and the sand blasting cabinet and all that. And it's an Able brand, and they have offices in, look, I think they're a West Australian company possibly. Anyway, I started making a noise, and I thought it was a cracked fitting on the side of the head, just where it was coming out. So I pulled all the fittings out and had a look and glued them up and made sure they were good, and it was still leaking. So what it turned out to be was a blown head gasket. Now, I've had it probably a year, look, maybe like a year, maybe quite longer than that. It just time disappears with these things sometimes. So, but anyway, yeah, where the head goes on, you have a valve plate, and there's a gasket in there, and then this is a gasket, and this squares out here, and the reed valves come in through this gap here. On the Able compressor, it blew the gasket out. And so I got onto them over in Perth and asked, I got onto them in Brisbane actually and asked, did they have a gasket set available? And they said, yes, they do, $25, and there's 3 little gaskets in them. And I thought they'd be made of good stuff, but anyway, they're not. They're just a good quality paper gasket really on the compressor. And so on the weekend I repaired that. I pulled the head off and the valve plate, and I did the gasket in there too and cleaned everything up. And yeah, so look, now it's working fine. It picks up air a lot better, and I had been using it with the blown gasket, just waiting for everything to turn up. So there's the gasket, but I thought I'd better check the tension on the head and check the tension on the other 2 cylinder heads, and with the valve blocks in them, and they're all loose. Yeah, so I got them all up probably 1/3 of a turn each, and so then after I did the gaskets on the Able compressor, I actually got it right up to operating temperature again. Then I run around again, and it actually came up a little bit more. So over the next week or so, when I use the compressor, I'll just nip it up. So if you've got one of those compressors, my mate JD bought one, and his boss bought one because mine was going well, and they actually rang up and asked how it was going, but they had 3 gasket sets in Australia, so I bought them all. It cost me $25 to get them airbagged over from Perth, and it's done. So if you have an air compressor, that sort of thing you just check the oil and you forget about, but look, take your time and nip the head up. I found on mine they all came up, so I imagine in time we would have the problem with all the cylinders in turn. So there you go, that was Saturday morning. Believe it or not, that was an hour or two's work. Getting it off. It was over in the corner and I didn't want to slide it out because it's a heavy big bastard. And I drained the tank and done all that sort of thing. So all done. So there you go, that's just a little bit more that happened through the week for the stew. I meant to tell you about that, and I was just tidying up, getting ready to do the head, and I come across the gasket again. So I thought, oh shit, I forgot about that. So there you go.